All right, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
We have a very exciting and interesting one for you tonight. I think this was a weird one, like you're saying.
Yeah.
It's yeah. This episode is fun. I think mostly because I don't know exactly how you took it. It's one of those ones where I give you a very loose assignment, and then I realize later there's probably a couple ways you could take that. So we'll see which way we ended up going. Yeah, this episode was inspired by me watching Mean Girls and realizing how actually scary Girl World is and the rules in it that you may accidentally break. And if you the more you think about it and its implications, the scarier it gets. But it's not a movie that is scary or considered scary, or it's played very fun and loose and safe. So I thought, what other movies are really scary the more you think about it? But not horror movies, obviously. So yeah.
I have a feeling we approached the list two different ways, which will make this even more interesting.
Good. I kind of hope so too.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Before we do that, though, let's check in on the movie draft.
Has there been anything new coming up?
Literally no.
Okay.
So part of the problem is it's been a historically terrible October. Tron Ares and Roof Man are the only movies that we drafted that came out, and they're not doing wonderful. They're doing all right, but not wonderful. But The Running Man comes out soon in a week.
Yeah,
and that looks like it should be pretty good. I just saw that Stephen King said on Twitter that it is this generation's Die Hard. But also Stephen King says a lot of crazy shit on Twitter, so I wouldn't necessarily believe anything he says. But what do you know?
It's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, no other changes. Everything's the same. I'm still winning.
Like the exact same.
Yeah. Moving on from that, I guess. Next thing, what new things have you seen lately?
Ooh, not a lot. Not like the last time where I had like 20 different movies I watched, but I did manage to watch a few. So I finally did get around to watching 28 Years Later.
Okay.
I was kind of bummed that I didn't see it in the theater, but it's on Netflix, and I was like, hey, pleasant surprise. Let's watch this, because I really, really, really like the first two. And I really, really like the first half of this one.
Okay.
The second half goes in a, like, not a bad direction. It's like, I like the story, but in terms of the franchise, like, it just doesn't fit well. I don't know. It's weird. Overall, it's pretty cool, though. I kind of hope that they make another one, which I think they are.
I think so, too. I think pretty soon.
They kind of need to after watching this one, because it just kind of like, it kind of pulls a, it's an open ending. I'll say that. So it's not a spoiler, but it's an open ending where it's just kind of like that's where you cut it off. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you greenlit part 4, because
yeah.
But it was decent. It's definitely worth a watch if you're a fan of the franchise. I'm actually really curious to see how many people who love the first two actually love this one, or if they hate it, or if they feel kind of pulled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a divisive third-parter.
I have seen that.
And then I watched Bring Her Back, which was supposed to be like the scariest movie of 2025. Like, this was the guys that did Talk to Me. They just ramped everything up. This is the craziest movie ever. I thought it was all right. I did.
Overhyped, you think?
Yeah, like the couple scenes that I was like, I think this is what people are referring to in terms of disturbing. The content of it is definitely disturbing, but I don't know. I thought Talk to Me was better executed and kind of more interesting, honestly.
Okay.
But it was all right. And then I was having the hardest time trying to find something just to throw on. Nothing was really catching my interest. And I honestly couldn't tell you why I picked this movie. It's not new. It's from 2009, and it's an Australian movie. So it was never even actually released in the States. But it's called Triangle.
Okay.
It's
Never
got,
heard.
I know you haven't. No one's heard of this movie. It's got Liam Hemsworth in it before anyone knew that he existed.
Yeah.
And, well, I guess Hunger Games was coming out, so that's when people, anyways, it's an interesting movie. I don't really want to say too much about it
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's a movie that you need to go into not knowing what you're about to watch.
Okay.
Interesting. Not great, but interesting. I think it's one that I will become a bigger fan of over time because
Yeah.
it does a lot of really fun things, and it's comparable to a couple movies that I've become a really big fan of in the last few years.
Mm.
So, yeah. I
All
think
right.
that one, I forget what that was streaming on. I want to say it's like Paramount or Hulu. But anyways,
Yeah.
it's worth the watch. I actually think I enjoyed Triangle more than the other two.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It's on
I
Peacock.
was okay. I was looking at the IMDb, and that writer director has done another movie I've had on my watch list forever called Black Death with Sean Bean.
Okay. Oh, that's a cool
Um,
movie.
is it?
Yeah.
The poster is cool. I was like, oh, I should watch that someday.
Yeah.
Never gotten around to it.
It's a cool movie.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. And that's what I watched. What about
Nice.
you, good sir?
I watched several things. So I watched a couple of old thriller or horror movies from like early 2000s, mostly because I had said I'd never seen them and my wife
I
made
like
me
that you
watch
say
them.
they're old and you're like early 2000s. It's not old.
It's over like 25 years ago. That's more than most of my life.
All right, fair.
Almost not most of my life, though. That's the sad part. So I watched Joyride with Paul Walker and Steve Zahn.
Okay.
And that's a really fun little thriller. I was very, very surprised. I did not expect it to be as funny as it is. It's really funny, and they have really good chemistry as brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And they just basically are on a road trip and get a CB radio and kind of mess with truckers and mess with the wrong trucker. And he's really weird and follows them and makes it weird for them. And this girl, the girl from I don't even know. She's in a bunch of early 2000 stuff. Glass House. She's in that. She's
Lily
the
Sobieski or Sobieski.
maybe. Yeah. Yeah. She has a weird name like that. So probably. Um, but yeah, it was good. It was fun. I really liked it. And so I would recommend going back to it. And then, and then I found out my wife has Netflix. And so we've been watching Netflix things lately. We watched this documentary called The Perfect Neighbor, which I guess is trending.
I've been curious to watch this, but I have not.
It's very, very good. Very kind of divisive depending on where you fall with. For us, I think that we started watching it and then you're supposed to hate this Karen lady that calls the cops on all these neighbor kids. And there's a lot of good reasons to hate her, but also things just kind of spiral out of hand and you're like, is this justifiable or not? And all this stuff. But the whole documentary has like no interviews really or no perspective from the filmmakers directly like influenced through the storytelling. It's really just body cam footage from the cops that were there and ring camera footage
Oh, interesting. Okay.
and yeah, just publicly available interview audio and things like that. So if you like true crime stuff, it's kind of directly all of the specific details only told through that. So that was really interesting. And then we watched this random movie called The Woman in Cabin 10 with Keira Knightley and Guy Pearce. It's just like a mystery
I read the
where she's
book.
like, oh, really? Okay. Yeah, she's like a reporter that goes on this rich guy's yacht and ends up kind of trying to unravel a mystery, but they treat her like she's crazy and she sees things that can't possibly be. And so she's trying to figure it out. It was all right. It was kind of forgettable in the sense that a couple of nights later, I was like, we should finish that movie. And Christy's like, we did finish that movie. I was like, what? I don't remember the ending. And then she explained it. I go, oh, yeah, I do remember that movie. We had to watch the whole thing.
We should finish it. Done.
Yeah. So, but it was fine. And then we've been binging. We binged 2 seasons of Nobody Wants This with Kristen Bell and Adam Brody.
Is that, I'm assuming since you binged it, you guys liked it.
Yeah, it was good. We didn't. I liked it a lot, kind of just from the beginning. It's just like a rom-com show. Christy didn't love it just because Kristen Bell's character is not the most likable for most of it, and so it's hard to be kind of empathetic to her situation. But it's a rom-com about her as she's dating this rabbi
Mm-hmm.
and trying to figure out if her lifestyle meshes with his lifestyle and all of that stuff, and long term where they'll go. And overall, I thought it was really good. Had some good laughs. Really fun rom com, and then Christy came around to it too. She kind of figures her stuff out and softens a bit, and it's pretty good. I liked it.
All right. All
So
right.
yeah, looking forward to another season of that. And then the last classic early 2000s horror thing I watched, saved it for the end because people are going to gasp when they hear I've never seen it, which is what my wife did. I said I'd never seen The Ring before.
You had never watched The Ring?
There it is. Yeah, see, told you.
I could have sworn you watched The Ring. You
No,
and I have like
I
conversed
know.
about The Ring before.
Well, I know all about it. I know 7 Days. I know the tape. I know the girl with the hair. I know the well, sort of. I knew like stills of it,
The
but I didn't know
TV.
the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah, the TV thing. I think mostly knew the scary movie spoofs of it, probably more
Oh,
so.
okay.
But yeah, I knew the gist, but I never seen the whole thing, and I liked it a lot. I
Yeah, it's
feel
a
like
cool movie.
if I saw that movie when it first came out, I would probably be obsessed with it because there's just so many cool like little things, like the fly on the screen inside the footage that she like pulls out of the screen. I was like, that's just a cool idea. I like that kind of stuff. So yeah, The Ring's a cool movie. It's not breaking any hard news here. Everybody already knows that The Ring is a big deal. They've known that for 25 years, but I thought it was cool. So
As you should. Well,
if you, like me, have not watched it, you probably should watch it.
speaking of being introduced to horror classics,
Yeah.
I introduced my daughter to the entire Scream franchise.
Oh, damn. That's a big week.
We
Day,
we watched all 6.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, I was like, all right, kiddo, how'd you feel about the whole franchise? And she goes, well, the first one's definitely the best. And I was like, yeah, of course. She was like, yeah, I really don't care about numbers 5 and 6, though. And I was like, really? She was like, they kind of forgot how to be fun. The first 4 are fun. Those 2, they're not that fun. And I don't care about the killers in those. So I was like,
interesting.
You agree with my point. And so I told her how I kind of feel about 5 and 6, and she was like, yeah, they're not that great. But then we watched the Scream 7 trailer, and she is stoked to go and see Scream 7. So that'll be a fun experience to take her to the theater to watch Ghostface on the big screen.
Yeah, for sure. That will be really fun. What does she have to say about Gail Weathers' bangs in number 3? I really have to know from a teenage girl's perspective.
Well, considering my daughter's mom is a hairstylist, my daughter notices bad haircuts in movies and on TV shows.
I notice, and I have no idea what a bad haircut looks like.
Well, she had a hard time with it for a while. Like, I think she missed a lot of dialogue, like initial dialogue from Gail Weathers every time she'd show up with the weirdest bangs of all time. But she got over it. Once Ghostface like starts doing his thing, my daughter was like, all right, I can forgive the bangs because there's some cool things going on.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So that was a fun experience, introducing her to the whole franchise. I was very much expecting her to only want to see the first one and be like, I'm done. And instead she was like, Dad, like, next one, come on, we're doing this. And I was like, all right. Yeah.
Well, that's fun. Oh, yeah. So let's get into this list here.
All right. The list that we realized was the top 10 as we were finishing the last episode.
Yes. Apparently you did before I did, but I still got there. I got all 10 up here. I did. A lot of them are not super serious. There are a couple of serious ones. The rest of them are more silly. I did make a conscious effort to not just have thrillers because so many thrillers can be very horror adjacent. But there may be 1 or 2 thrillers on there.
Well,
so yeah.
Yeah, mine's pretty predominantly serious. But I don't always think about thriller in terms of horror. I do have one on here that you will probably be like, Dustin, that is straight horror.
Okay.
But I'm going to pull the technicality card on it and say that all the IMDb categories that it's under, horror
Yeah.
is not one of them. So
That's fair.
deal with
I
it.
did have a couple I had to check. I was like, that could be considered horror, but yeah, no, definitely not.
But my list kicks off with one that I think you'll laugh and be like, yup. So.
Okay. What's that? Why don't you go first?
Oh, okay. All right. So, scariest non-horror. This was such a weird list to approach because a bunch of the movies that flashed into my head first were only like quick scenes from movies that I saw as a kid that I remember being scary. And so when I went and watched the movie, I was like, oh, that scary scene lasts for 30 seconds. So I don't think I can include that.
Yeah, it's not the whole mood of the whole movie.
Right. So I had to go with a full feature that really just kind of runs the gambit on stuff unexpectedly. So my number 10 is actually a comedy that was hated in 1996, but has amassed quite the cult following. My number 10 is The Cable Guy.
Okay. Very fun. Very true.
Hilarious movie, but when you watch it, kind of like you said, where you're like, I wonder, like, because it feels so off, and the first couple times you watch it, you're like, this guy's out of his mind, like, this is hilarious. But then you rewatch it, and you're like, this is obsession. Like, he kidnaps people, he's like causing illegal things. The nightmare sequence is terrifying. Jim Carrey singing in the living room is actually also very terrifying, but it's when you take away the comedy of it, the whole movie is incredibly unnerving, and so that's why it has to be my number 10.
Okay. I completely relate because it's also on my list, just a little bit higher, or quite a bit higher. It was actually the very first movie I thought of when I came to this list because I was like, The Cable Guy is so uncomfortably, like, genuinely scary, this situation that it gets further and further and further down this path. Yeah.
That's hilarious. What about you, my friend?
My number 10 is kind of similar in the sense that it is also a comedy, but way scarier and also unpopular. Nobody really liked this movie in 1991 when it came out.
Oh, look at us.
People still today probably don't really like it. But I think that you enjoy it more or less. I went with Nothing But Trouble.
Dude, that movie's great.
It's so weird and so, like, it's probably the most horror adjacent movie on my list just because it's very, very gross. Definitely clear body horror elements. And but I don't know. It's just so weird that Dan Aykroyd and his brother came up with this movie and made it. And just rewatching it, I was so focused on the set design of this house. It feels very much like Saw 2, honestly, that they're stuck in this house in this like backwoods town, that living with this judge that has locked them up for speeding and is feeding people essentially to machines and potentially children, cousins, relatives. Who knows what he's doing with these people?
What they are out in the yard, but yeah.
He's got parts of his body that he pulls off and look penis shaped.
One thing I was like, man, I bet Jake is going to hit me with pics that are going to be obvious the moment he mentions it. And there you come, right out the gate.
Yep.
Yeah. Nothing But Trouble. That movie is unhinged. So unhinged.
That was terrifying. It's the weirdest movie ever. And to watch Chevy Chase and Demi Moore, I don't know, try to play it as straight as possible. It's just the weirdest thing. The weirdest movie I've ever seen, I think.
It's up there. Yeah, when you watch that movie, you can't go into it expecting anything coherent. or logical, sane. Yeah, that movie's terrifying. How did I not think to watch that movie for this list?
Yeah.
It's so good, though. I love Nothing But Trouble.
You might be the only person. If
I'm
anybody
okay
else
with that.
has seen and likes Nothing But Trouble, I would
I'm
love
all
to hear
right
it.
with that because it's super entertaining because of how weird it is. Yeah. All right. Well, my number 9, because doing this kind of list, I had a thought where I was like, movies from our childhood. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s, then family movies were kind of like not always family friendly. And I remember being kind of like disturbed by moments from The Labyrinth, but loving it because, it's got songs and it's cool. But I remember specifically my brother one time was like, you want to watch something that's kind of creepy? Watch The Dark Crystal. And I was like, okay, whatever. It's Jim Henson. Well, rewatching that, The Dark Crystal is still incredibly like, this was for children. This was for families. These are not the Jim Henson puppets that we've all come to love and admire. Yeah, The Dark Crystal. It's got crazy sequences in it. It's awesome. It's so flipping good. I think I enjoyed it more as an adult rewatching it now than I did like throughout my youth. I thought it was just so well done. But at the same time, I was just like, every element of this story, I mean, it's a hero's journey, but it's like, there's a lot in this movie that is weird and kind of evil and weird, fun. But yeah, so The Dark Crystal, because movies from our childhood, especially the like 80s and 90s, weren't always there to make you feel great. They were kind of, yeah.
Yeah, there's growing up in the 80s, everything was kind of gross, whether it was McDonald's or TV shows, just sets in general.
Yep.
Everything looked weird and gross, and you kind of got used to it. Dark Crystal is especially up there, I feel like, because it's very much not like anything of the Jim Henson Company ever created.
Right.
All of it looks even weirder than Meet the Feebles, that Peter Jackson puppet movie,
right,
which is intentionally unhinged and weird. But the like weird vulture guys are so gross looking, and then even the good guys, they're just weirdly
shaped.
It's like it's like they have an Instagram filter or whatever on their face. They're just weirdly sculpted, and it looks like almost like an anime or something. It's just a weird looking face.
Yeah. The design is strange, but the vulture dudes, they are off their rockers, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, my number 9 is straight comedy. I don't think anybody goes into this and thinks that it's really scary, but at least for me, it has a lot of things about it. I'm like, this is not okay. And it's kind of a double feature. So I did this thing where I had categories of movies that are very similar and have the same vibe, and I tried to pick one, but all of them are kind of interchangeable, so I'll mention all of them. This is a 2-parter, like a double feature, in the sense that both movies made me feel this way for different reasons, so I'm going to touch on both, and they're sequels to each other. So Knocked Up is the first one, because for me, I don't even want a conversation with a stranger.
True.
Let alone having sex with them.
True.
And a one night stand sounds like a nightmare on its own to me. But then also, let alone being forever tied to that person because I get her pregnant, and now we have an unexpected responsibility of a kid forever with a stranger and that you have to share. That sounds awful, forever. So, and then you put on top of that, like how like has no money the whole time, and he's trying to barely make ends meet and stuff, and that's stressful. And this whole movie is pretty stressful, but also one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, so it definitely works. But if you take that humor away, if people were less sarcastic and less quippy, this would be a very stressful drama, I think. That's my opinion.
So you were referring to This Is 40 then?
Yeah, so This Is 40 also, genuinely, no joke, was one of the most stressful movie theaters experiences of my life.
Because it's so
Because,
real.
but yeah, partly because, and particularly just a timing thing. So at that point in my life when I saw it, we had not been married very long, and I had not had a job before we got married. And so I had a bunch of credit card debt that I hadn't told my wife about yet, like $10,000 of credit card debt. And the whole point of the movie is that he's like not barely making ends meet, has all this debt he hasn't told his wife about. And so I'm like sitting there like sweating this whole time watching this movie. I'm like, this is horrible, horrifying. So I didn't enjoy it so much the first time I watched it, but it is a really, really funny movie and I like it a lot now. And then, yeah, I guess a little bit more of like just growing older. The more you watch it, you're like, yeah, this is how life is, and dealing with family and dealing with kids and dealing with everything. And yeah, have dumb fights with your spouse. It's a very real movie. So
Yeah.
there you go. That's my number 9.
I like it. I like it. Well, my number 8 is going to be a extremely obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I am okay with how obvious it is, because when I watched it, the first time I ever saw it, I had no clue what it actually was. And so I went into this expecting, it's another family film, by the way, family fantasy. This is the one, the technicality people, okay? I looked up all the genres on IMDb. Horror is not listed on them. It is family fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So that first time I watched it, I wasn't a big fan of it, but partially because I did not like how demented and dark this movie goes and continues to revisit and just build off of. Now that I've watched it many times, and then actually I've even featured this one on another top 10, well, one of the characters on another list of ours. Coraline is just, without a doubt, one of the most terrifying movies ever. There is a lot wrong with Coraline.
Yeah.
A lot wrong with that movie. It's super entertaining and I love it, but that is a jacked up story. And Other Mother, I will die on this mountain. She is possibly the most evil female villain ever. She is so evil.
Very, very top of your list.
Yeah. So Coraline had to show up on mine because it's just, when I rewatched it again with this mentality of like, okay, I'm watching it for like the scary element on purpose now. And it's pretty much off, like right off the bat. Like parents are neglecting their daughter because they're like too consumed with their own stuff. And she goes wandering off to do witchy things. And then she gets caught up in all of the other world stuff. And it's like, wow. Hey, parents, pay attention to your kids. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good message.
Like, I feel like the entire film could have been avoided had the mom and dad just gone out into the rain to garden with their daughter. Like she wants in the very first scene. Had that happen, no movie. That would have been it.
Yeah, it's like one of those posts that you see where they have the like an opening scene and then credits.
Credits. That would have been it. But yeah, so Coraline had to be on mine. It just did.
Okay, that's perfect. My number 8 is another comedy, kind of small sci-fi elements, but this you're gonna laugh at this one. So my number 8 is Multiplicity. Not scary, really, normally at all.
It's not, but I know what you're doing. You're going with the stress of like marriage and trying to juggle life within your marriage while everything's kind of like not working out well.
That's half of it. I definitely am becoming more and more aware of kind of why he goes into creating clones of himself. But also even before that, before I was in this place where I'm like, I get it. Now, before that, I was still amazed that he was so quick to jump into that experimental machine. Like, he learns about it and then smash cut 30 seconds later to him doing it
Yeah.
and creating a clone of himself. And then the thing about cloning, we haven't really had cloning movies. Cloning movies were a big thing in like the 90s. I almost put The Sixth Day on here with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Same thing. I have the same thing with that movie because the more I think about cloning, I don't think we do it now because we're focused on AI, and AI is kind of similar. It's like, is artificial intelligence actual intelligence? When does a android become an actual person? All of that stuff.
It's just evil.
I have I have all those questions about cloning, and I've had them since I was a kid. In that, is that other you still you, or is it another person? And if it's another person, like, at what point do you split off, and or are you the same person? Are you split personality? Like, where's the line? It's just a weird thing that raises so many unanswerable questions that I don't know. I think I maybe get a little weirdly obsessed about it because I'm like, there's so many morality questions. There's so many just like technical, biological questions. I'm like, is this like in the Sixth Day when Arnold Schwarzenegger's clone takes over his life? I'm like, is that okay for his family? Because it is him, but it's not him. And it's just so, like, I don't know, again, stressful
Your poor
and
brain.
not okay. Yeah.
Your poor brain.
So that's where I'm at with multiplicity. And yeah, for him to just do it over and over. And then you have the added stress of him trying to not let his wife find out that he's
Right.
cloned himself so many times. And it's a great movie. And
It's a fantastic movie.
Michael Keaton is
Steve.
incredible. Yeah, he's incredible in all of his different roles. And I think you brought it up before. The way that they shoot it and the way that they do the camera tricks is really, really, really good.
It's brilliant.
Yeah,
It's
the way that they walk
absolutely
around
brilliant.
each other and everything. It's like, it wasn't like, it was ahead of its time when it came out, and it holds up so well.
It blows me away how watching some of these older films, like, we'll use Multiplicity as the example.
Mhm.
The reliance on just good filmmaking,
Yeah.
good filming techniques, blocking and all that.
And needing creativity in order to pull it off.
Right. And being creative with it on top of it. It is incredible how all that stuff looks so much better than so many of the newer films that we get now where everything is just post. We'll just do everything in post. Yeah, Multiplicity is fantastic. I'm going to get you a present. A chainsaw or a book? Something real nice.
That's such a good movie.
I love Multiplicity. That's one of my favorite. Oh, man, that's so good. Love it. Love it. Love it. Never thought of it in terms of scary, but when he is trying to juggle construction, being like the boss, family, the screaming kids, and then all of a sudden he's trying to manage 3 clones and a schedule and find time to relax. Yeah, I think it's a little like, man, I have a hard time just trying to do dishes and like listen to music while I do dishes. Like,
yeah, do dishes and get groceries and go to work. That's too much.
Yeah. All right. Good pick. Interesting pick.
Thanks.
Well, my number 7 is not funny at all. In fact, it's kind of very disturbing. I realized without, like, when I finalized my list, I was looking it over and I was like, apparently the scariest thing to me is when people voluntarily give up their humanity for like their own gain or because they think it's okay. So my list has that as its central theme, is the loss of humanity.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so my number 7 is a movie from 2010 called Unthinkable. It's with Samuel L. Jackson, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Martin Sheen, but not the Sheen that you're thinking.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it's about this guy who makes this video claiming that he's planted 3 nuclear bombs throughout the states, and he gets arrested by the government, and Sam Jackson is the interrogator. It is a 2-hour movie about torture.
Okay.
And it doesn't show a lot. I mean, it does show a lot, but a lot of it is left to your imagination, so that when you see the exhaustion on everyone, your brain automatically tries to figure out what they were doing in terms of torture devices and stuff. And it's a countdown movie, so you have the added stress of them trying to get him to confess where these bombs are, and it just continues to up the ante about every 25, 35 minutes in this film, where they just like, and we're going to make it more stressful, and we're going to make it more stressful, and more. It's a great movie, but not if you need something to like be calm during, because it's not calming at all. But it's an interesting movie, and it's kind of scary. Just not just the terrorist aspect of it, because that's terrifying, obviously. But the lengths that Sam Jackson's character is willing and calm about going to do. That's and then seeing how other people around him, how they start off very anti it, and then they just continue to progress to be like, or degress to be like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that's okay. We'll just do it.
Becomes normal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
I have not seen it. I'll have to check that movie out.
I think you would find it interesting.
Yeah.
I think you would find it interesting.
Sounds intense, but interesting. Okay, my number 7 is the opposite of that. And it's also kind of another cheat in the sense that it's more of a general category of movies.
Okay.
Which is the kind of movies that are treated like slapstick comedies. Haha, how fun is this? But it's really just people in a situation that just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So The Money Pit.
Yeah, you've brought movies like this up before.
Yeah, The Money Pit is a big one with Tom Hanks and Shelley Long, where they buy a house and the house falls apart, and it's just the worst and worst.
So flippin' funny. They're like, Tom Hanks laugh when the tub falls through the floor.
That's funny.
That's the best scene ever.
That's all you can do in that situation is just start to laugh, because it's absolutely the worst. Duplex with Drew Barrymore and Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
The same situation
that one's
where
stressful.
They rent an apartment or buy an apartment, and then this old lady kind of comes with it and lives in that apartment with them and makes their life terrible. Funny Farm with Chevy Chase, all these kinds of movies. Yeah. It's like, it's not fun. It's funny, but it also is stressful. And I'm like, it's kind of more stressful than I would like in a comedy movie. And unless you can take yourself out of it and be like, haha, it sucks for them. I'm more like, that would suck for me, is where I come at it from.
So you're going with just the whole genre or kind of movies like that?
Basically, The Money Pit is like the one.
Okay.
But there were so many, I was like, this is kind of the same. This is all the same.
I was going to say, I think that's a first where it's like a genre of movies placed on a top 10. But you have mentioned that before, how those movies are funny, but they cause you quite a bit of stress because you're like, it just keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Oh man, Money Pit is so good though.
It is really fun.
It's like Tom Hanks's timing on how he reacts to everything going wrong during that movie is top notch. It's Tom Hanks in the 80s and early 90s when he did his comedies. Like, that is.
Oh, it's the best.
That's the best. It really is.
Yeah. It's easy to forget how incredible he was and why he became what he became. But if you go back and watch all of them, Turner and Hooch, all of them, they're so good.
Hooch, Money Pit, Dragnet, Big, like, just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. All right. My number 6, right? We're on 6. Yeah. All right. So this is a movie from 1955.
Okay. I would love it.
Yeah. It's black and white. And it probably could have been higher on my list, but I think as the list progresses, you'll understand why it had to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a movie called The Night of the Hunter.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
I was like, it might be Night of the Hunter. And that's not a horror movie?
No.
Okay. I know it's like one of the first big
Yeah.
serial killer movies.
No, it's not a horror movie. It's like a drama thriller. But
Okay.
that movie is so genuinely disturbing on so many levels. And I think one of the reasons why it's so scary is that it was made in 1955,
Mm-hmm.
which you look at a lot of films like those classics, even the Westerns and stuff. I think we have a tendency to kind of look at that era of film as kind of a more innocent
Yeah.
era. And then you watch a movie like Night of the Hunter, and it's like, this is about a guy who's exploiting preachers. Like, he pretends to be a preacher, and then he murders people. He exploits the single mom whose husband died after he just hid $10,000, and he's exploiting their marriage, like terrorizing her children just to get the 10 grand. And things just get like, that movie has some moments in it that I was like, this is so wrong and so much scarier than so many horror movies now. Like, genuinely disturbing. I'm not gonna lie. If I saw a preacher that had love and hate tattooed on his fingers, I'd have questions. I'd be like, why do you have hate tattooed on your knuckles? But yeah, him and his like stalking the kids, and yeah, it's just the way he treats his wife is, there's not one aspect of the movie that's not disturbing. It is very disturbing. So it had to be on my list.
Yeah, it really is. And it's really, really good. It's particularly for a movie from 1955. It kind of stands out when you watch it. You're like, wow, it looks good. It moves good. It does a lot of really interesting things. But yeah, you're right. It does feel like movies from then were more innocent. And I remember when we did that episode on the MPAA rating system, and we talked about kind of where it started and the Hays Code of conduct for movies and stuff. I was just looking it up because Night of the Hunter was kind of right in the middle of when the Hays Code was supposed to be going on, but also kind of, I think, was part of it falling apart. The movies started to push the boundaries and progress to be something more than what they were. And I think that movie probably had a big part to do with it.
I would imagine so. Yeah, folks, if you haven't watched it, like, you kind of should, because it is well made.
Yeah, especially if you like serial killer kind of interesting stories like that. It's really well done. Okay. My next one is more serious than the ones that I've had so far.
All right.
I'm trying to take this a little seriously. And my number 6 is Nocturnal Animals.
That makes sense. Sense. It was on my list for a while. It's an honorable mention. That movie is...
It's messed up. It's messed up for a lot of reasons. I think the main reason is the story. The story that Amy Adams gets sent a story from her ex-husband, and she's reading it, and it basically seems to be about her and him and like an alternate whatever.
Yeah.
It's really funny that you always imagine Amy Adams and Isla Fisher should be in a movie together, and they are. Isla Fisher basically plays Amy Adams' character. Yeah. But yeah, then this character played by Jake Gyllenhaal's wife and daughter get kidnapped and raped, and that's just the worst part of the whole movie. The rest of the movie isn't great either, particularly the opening. I always forget how long that opening is. I always remember that it's there. I never forget that it's there, but it's really long and it's really, really graphic. Like the opening I love this movie, but it makes it hard to recommend this movie to people because if you haven't seen Nocturnal Animals, first of all, one of only a couple movies written and directed by Tom Ford. The Tom Ford that's like a famous fashion designer. It's very, very interesting to me that he made this movie and made a very, very good movie. But I think because he's a fashion designer and he's a kind of, I don't know, a weirdo maybe, he has this opening to this movie, which is just really morbidly obese women naked. dancing essentially like cheerleaders, and it's just long and drawn out, and they're very, very, very fat, and they're very, very, very naked, and it's very, very, very weird. It serves no real point to the story other
It
than the
serves
fact
zero
that
point to the story except that they're
Amy Adams has like a
they're like
art installation that
yeah,
uses
they're
them.
living art pieces at this installation or whatever.
Yeah. Again, very fashion designer
Yeah.
bullshit thing to do, but overall, phenomenal movie, phenomenal acting. Michael Shannon's incredible. Aaron Taylor Johnson's incredible. But yeah, if you can get past the opening scene, great movie. Also, if you don't mind rape, great movie. But also very, very, very scary. One of the most horrifying things you can imagine, especially as like the dad, the father, the husband in that situation, having them taken from you, trying to figure out if you can even get them back, if they're dead or not, and then also dealing with the ramifications of it, not being able to defend your family. That's the worst thing possible. Like,
it's
just the worst.
See, I do always forget about the opening. But I remember the movie itself, and the movie is gross on so many levels, but it's like it's so well done. When I popped it in to watch it to prep for this episode, because I was like, it was one of the earliest movies I was like, oh, Nocturnal Animals.
Yeah.
Popped it in, started playing. Immediately I was like, what? No, what? It's like, what's going on with the movie? I don't remember that. So I always forget that it's there. But yeah, that's you don't see. I think one of the craziest parts of it is you don't see the horrendous violence, but you see the after effect. And I think just the shot of that is one of the most like gut wrenching, like, ugh.
Yeah.
This is only like 30 minutes into the movie. There's another, hour and a half left. This is going to be a tough ride. And it is. It really is.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie. It actually is a really good movie. So, yeah, good pick. Good pick. I'm not shocked you have that on your list because I had thought of it too. And I was like, this is one that I think Jake is going to. He'll probably mention this one at least. So
yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, my number 5. Dang, dude, I feel like we are cruising through this list.
A little bit, not bad.
Little bit. Well, my number 5, I had to revisit our childhood.
Okay.
Because of my whole list, I think this is the only movie that really had no right to be as disturbing as it is. And to be as scary as it was for all of us growing up when we watched it. Because we watched the first one, and sure, there's a scary sequence at the end, but the movie's so freaking cool that you're like, this is even people's faces melting is cool. And then the second one comes on and we're like, this is going to be great. More adventure. And it's like child enslavement. It's like possession. It's guys tearing hearts out and eating them and burning people alive. And Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom has no right to be as disturbing as it is.
Yeah.
Love it. It has no right to be, because it was like that movie where, let's watch Indiana Jones, not the second one. We can watch 1 and 3, and that's it.
Those are the only ones that were allowed in my house as a kid, for
Me
one
too.
thing.
Yep. Yeah. And every time I watch Temple of Doom, like, it's super entertaining. I very much enjoy it. But every time I watch it, I just can't help but shake my head. And I'm like, this one takes such a weird turn. Like, okay, George, I know you were going through a divorce and that's what all this kind of came from, but this is, wow, you got some tough things in your head, dude. So, yeah, Temple of Doom had to be on my list because of all of the movies that I think traumatized us in our youth, I think this is a big one, if not the big one. So,
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's way up there. My number five falls in a very similar category, honestly, is also from our youth. It's also has elements that definitely traumatized us. And it's very, very scary, I think, in more parts than we care to remember. And even the parts that are fun, the more you think about them, the scarier they are, I think.
Are you
So my
gonna say
number
Toy
five
Story?
is no, but close. My
Oh,
number
okay.
five is Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah.
That's for like an animated buddy comedy. The entire movie literally plays out like a nightmare. I think that it could be a Bob Hoskins nightmare that he finds himself in Toontown, where there's these insane beings, creatures that don't obey the laws of physics in any way, shape, or form. They're just unhinged on every level, and they're everywhere, and you never know when they'll pop out. You'll never know when an inanimate object will just be animated.
Alive, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just so scary that you could hurt it or kill it or whatever. It's so weird. And then you have Christopher Lloyd playing the most iconic villain, horror villain ever in in Judge Doom. He's just so scary. And then I always kind of forget, but also kind of don't forget because I know it's coming and it scares me every time. That Jessica Rabbit, who is kind of the epitome of, dictionary definition of bombshell, and you're like, oh yeah, we all have fond memories of Jessica Rabbit. But also, I have a very, very disturbing memory of the end of the film where she transforms into that hideous woman creature and I like exposes her true self or something. It's just like this thing that I'm like, that just messed me up as a kid and still does. I don't like it. So, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, one of the most scary movies ever that nobody's talking about.
I can just imagine people being like, are they trying to ruin movies that we like? Like, no, that's not the case. We're just well, Jake is trying to. Jake is. Blame
A little
him.
bit, yeah.
Blame Jake.
Yeah.
Blame Jake. Well, I don't have any more that came from our childhood.
Okay.
Well, not from ours, but I do have two more from mine, but not
Okay.
this one. My number 4, I didn't think it was all that great the first time I saw it, but it's one of those where every time I've rewatched it, I've enjoyed it more and more. I've respected it more and more, and have found it more terrifying each time that I rewatch it. So my number 4 is Nightcrawler with Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal. That
Yeah.
movie, like,
Again, your theme of
yeah,
losing
the
your
theme of
humanity
just giving up your humanity, that's okay. No, it's really not. And
and not seeing people as human and just a story.
I think what makes Nightcrawler such a scary movie
Mm-hmm.
is that there is not a single moment in the whole movie where Jake's character is redeemable. Like,
Yeah.
it starts off with him being a petty thief and him trying to kind of manipulate his way and his will into other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he gets a camera in his hand and he realizes how he can manipulate that, seeing how quick he just embraces it and amplifies it, like,
Yeah. Sees it as his chance or thing.
yeah, for his own personal gain, his own personal power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is, Nightcrawler is genuinely a scary movie. It's, yeah, it's a scary film.
Yep. Definitely is. But also phenomenal film.
Yeah, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
My number 4 is a movie that I hadn't seen in a really, really long time, and I rewatched it this last week and kind of forgot how fantastic it is. Incredible cast, great political thriller from 1998, directed by the great Tony Scott.
Oh,
Enemy of the State.
yeah.
With Will Smith and Gene Hackman and John Voight and Regina King. Also, really fun small roles by Jamie Kennedy, Seth Green, and Jack Black, and Gabriel Byrne randomly, and Jason Lee randomly. But there's just few things more terrifying to me, and I think it should be to everybody, than realizing to what extent you do not have control over your own life.
Mm-hmm.
That at any moment, the government can just step in and take it all away from you,
Right.
whether it's valid or not, whether it's justifiable or not. You would hope that there's justice or truth, but it doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they can pretty much just do or say or fabricate whatever they want. And then you layer on top of that the ever expanding threat of violated privacy, which the movie does a really good job. Obviously, that was the big threat in 1998, still is, even more so probably now than it was back then, because this was pre 2001, pre Patriot Act, pre all of
Right.
that stuff. But it's just so scary, and also so accurate and real. And there are parts where it's a little silly, like they definitely do this thing with the security camera that they just make it like the footage go all the way around to the other side of his body and enhance in insane ways, but also probably not that far-fetched anymore with like how many cameras there are everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
also generative AI able to like interpret things and facial recognition and everything. Like we're getting probably closer to that now than we were back then. So, but really, really good movie, and really cool to kind of see that. It's up there again with like Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson and Eagle Eye with
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Boof.
And so, yeah, all those. Or Snowden. There was
Yeah.
that was obviously based on real things, but good movie also. So crazy stuff. But if you haven't seen Enemy of the State and you're into a good Tony Scott political thriller, you should check it out because it's really, really good, actually.
Yeah. It's got some cool action sequences too, because it was the
Yeah,
90s. So
right.
Will Smith is going to run around New York. It happens.
Yep.
That's a good pick. I just realized I don't have any government movies on mine. I probably should.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
It's a
well,
good scapegoat.
too late. Well, I guess the terrorist ones they kind of count. So yeah, I do. Haha.
Yeah, yeah. The government has to terrorize, or not terrorize. Well, basically terrorize, torture people.
Yeah. Well, speaking of terrorists, my number 3 is from 1999. This movie to me is still one of the most effective thriller dramas, political thriller drama.
Mm-hmm.
What's wild to me is it's before 9/11, but the stuff that's in it is like, it feels like a post 9/11 movie, but it's not. It's not
Okay.
even like an anti-government movie. It's just a really frightening movie. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Arlington Road. It's with Jeff Bridges and Tim Robbins.
Yeah, I know the cover. I don't know if I've seen the movie.
It's fantastic. Jake, I
Okay.
think you would love I think you would be a pretty good fan of this movie. I don't know if you would love it, but I think you'd be like, yeah, this is a good flick.
Yeah.
It is intense. It has actual jump scares in it,
Mm.
which is a weird thing to say in a
Mm-hmm.
political thriller, but there are a couple jump scares. It's just the way the movie navigates of friendly neighbors, and suddenly things don't add up with your best friends, and you're like, I think they might be part of a terrorist cell that's been operating in the States for a while. Um, yeah, it's just, and Jeff Bridges does such a good job of kind of going crazy trying to figure out the truth of what's going on. And then it's the opposite side of that is everyone around him is kind of like doubting and arguing him, and the unraveling of the story. It is one of the coolest, most
Mm.
intense movies I've ever watched. And it's just, I can't speak high enough about Arlington Road. My brother introduced this movie to us, or to me, when I was a kid, and it's still one that every time I watch it, I'm still just like, how does no one know about this movie? How did this movie not be successful? This is so
Yeah.
flippin' good.
Yeah.
But it is a terrifying movie. It really is a scary film.
Okay. That's amazing. Yeah, I'll check that out for sure. Um, My number three was so scary the first time we tried to watch it, we had to turn it off. That's how scary this movie is. Starts out, at least. It is.
Did you
I
hide
mean,
behind a couch at one point?
it's no. Oh, are you thinking of Fire in the Sky?
No.
Oh,
No, but
okay.
that should be
Well,
on your list too. But I think that
it
has like
should.
an actual horror.
It almost was. I think I put on my list, but okay. Never mind anything that we said there. My number three. What did I say? Three is it stars two people who are genuinely hilarious that you don't think it should be funny, but also you've only ever seen them do funny things. So, Owen Wilson and Lake Bell, who I find very, very funny. This movie's not funny at all. It's the very scary, thrilling action disaster movie called No
No escape.
Escape. Yeah. This movie, like, it was, this was before we had kids and we tried to watch this movie. And just the way that this family's on vacation and they're having a great time and they're in, I think, Malaysia. And then there just starts to be this uprising around them and gunshots in the hotel and riots outside. And they have to try to escape with, as a family, with their two children. And yeah, it's just one of the most terrifying things ever. Like you watch war movies and you're like not that scared because they're all soldiers. They're supposed to be there. It should be fine. But when you drop a family on vacation in the middle of a war zone, essentially, you just have a completely different context of you should not be there. And also you have no skills or way to get out or you don't know the country, you don't know the language, you
Right.
don't know any of this stuff. And it's just so terrifying. Luckily, you ran into Pierce Brosnan. He tries to help you. That's good.
He does try to help him. Yeah.
But yeah, No Escape is just so, so scary. Just such a terrifying situation. And then, yeah, watching it after having kids and you're like trying to imagine not only trying to like corral them and get them to do what you want them to do, because I'm in a phase where the kids don't do anything you want them to do. They ignore you completely. But also, but also just trying to move them all at the same time. And you're like, if this was me and my wife, we would figure it out. But if you have kids, it's just a whole completely different thing. And so it's just very, very, very terrifying.
Yeah, I remember it was a long time ago that you had mentioned No Escape. And I went and watched it. Like I actually sat down and watched it shortly after we had talked about it. I forget what episode you talked about it in.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. That was like first year mention.
I think so.
Yeah, it is a very intense film and it does not waste any time really to just like, oh, here we go.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's obviously heavy horror elements to it, even though it's not a horror movie. But it's made by John Eric Dowdle, who's the same writer and director who did Quarantine and Devil and the Poughkeepsie Tapes and As Above, So Below, which I love, obviously. So there you go. If you that sounds interesting, I would check that out.
Yeah, it's a cool movie too, and it's one that I don't think a lot of people know of.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So definitely check that one out. Well, my number 2, dang, we blew through this list. This is crazy to me.
Well, I do have a lot of honorable mentions.
Okay.
And then also I put on Instagram just to see what other people might think because I thought it was a weird prompt of non-horror scary movies. And I have some other recommendations from people there too. So kind of like bonus honorable mentions we can talk about.
So my number 2 is the last one from my childhood. And my introduction to this was not the movie, actually. My brother was in a play in high school, and he played one of the characters. And I remember watching the play, and it just floored me. Like the hysteria of the story, how quickly it just gets out of control, and how there's so many elements that point to rational thinking, but because of everyone's mania, no one thought rationally on any aspect of what happened. And so it is one of the craziest stories. And then I remember watching the movie. I wasn't supposed to watch the movie because it's a movie version of a play done at high school. So it was allowed to show more and dive deeper into some of the craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely scared the poop out of me. And now when I watch it, it's the scariest part about it is just how quick people allow themselves to be caught up in the moment and just start slinging verbal abuse and verbal attacks to other people just based on, I don't like that person, or that person owes me something, so I'm going to accuse them of this because they must be a horrible human being. So my number 2 is The Crucible, because I feel like a movie depicting the Salem witch trials is a frightening parallel to our current times of just everyone accusing everyone irrationally for everything. And it's just, The Crucible is one of the most terrifying stories I think I've ever watched. Some people might say, oh, it kind of hinges on horror because, the girls are claiming that they sold their souls and danced with the devil and that all these other people are witches and stuff. But when you look at how it actually broke down, even the actual historical account of the Salem witch trials, like, rationality just simply wasn't allowed in any of the cases. And it was 19 people that were hanged because they would not confess to being a witch. It's one of the most backwards thinking I think I've ever heard of. Where it was like, if you confess to the crime, you're good. If you don't confess to the crime, we're going to kill you. And it's, 18 people were hung. One guy was crushed. But so the Crucible is just, and the way that the movie was made, Daniel Day-Lewis, his portrayal of John Proctor, and just everything about it is so well done. You feel the dirt, you feel the grime, and then you add the hysteria on top of all of that. And it is just, I don't know how I would be able to like respond in that time. Everything when I watch the movie now, I'm like, I would just leave. Like, there's other settlements. I would just be like, see ya. Not going to be a part of this. But then you think back on those days and it's like, that wasn't the thinking because that was your settlement. So everyone was kind of there together. So you couldn't just leave.
It's everybody,
So, I just, The Crucible is a story that it has just stuck with me since a kid. And I'm pretty positive it will be with me and haunt me even when I'm an old man. So
okay, that's fair enough. I haven't seen that one either, but I do love Daniel Day-Lewis, and I do love I was just looking at her face and I completely forget.
Winona Ryder or Joan Allen?
Winona Ryder, yeah. My number 2 is also from 1996.
Ooh.
And we finally get to The Cable Guy. And I put it way up here because it is one of the first movie I thought of when I came up with this. It is also, I put it higher than No Escape, not because it's scarier, but because it's more personal to me in the sense that it's mostly scary because I 100% believe that this could happen to me. That I would just be too polite and giving someone too much access and not enough boundaries and just assuming they'd abide by normal, unspoken
social
codes of conduct.
Cues,
yeah, exactly. And then you get this one weird guy that was raised by TV and lacks any sort of social norms to just weasel his way into your life, and then you can't get rid of him, and that's just so scary. It is the way that Jim Carrey plays him. He's completely unhinged, and to the point where you're like, you might be normal and you're doing this on purpose, or also you're crazy, and that's maybe scarier because you have no way to know when you've gone too far, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's just really, really, really scary the way that he plays it. And then also Matthew Broderick, I don't know, he just seems like so normal in the situation that I feel like, yeah, that could be me. I could be that guy that did that, and now I have this cable guy that I can't get out of my life, and no matter what I do, and it's just so scary. I think,
And it just gets worse when you try to set a boundary. It just gets
yeah,
worse.
right, right, yeah. He goes further and further down the rabbit hole throughout the movie, and is forced to get to know this guy that he doesn't want to get to know anymore. It's really scary.
It's funny that you said that, because I'm thinking of their first scene together, and I'm like, yeah, I could see Jake being Matthew Broderick in that moment where you like have that polite where he's like, I could take you to the satellite one time. It could be cool. I'll show you how it works. Sounds like a plan. Like, cool. That's
Yeah.
normal. Like, it's the unwritten agreement. We're never actually going to get together, but
Right.
friendly.
I'm being nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then being, I'll pick you up at 8. And you being, huh? Oh, we're actually doing that? No. Like, huh?
Yeah. And I don't know how to get out of it now. Yeah.
Then you find yourself at medieval times and having to perform and fight. And
Right.
every time I watch the
terrifying.
medieval times scene, I'm like, there's not one thing in this scene that makes me think that Jim Carrey's character would ever pull back on not actually murdering him. If he wasn't kind of clumsy,
committed to the bit,
he will kill someone.
Yeah.
Like,
he's playing a role in his mind, and he's fully invested now.
yeah.
So scary.
Yeah. All right. My number 1. So I have a theory.
Okay.
And it's a loose theory.
Sure.
But I found myself a lot while prepping for this episode where I was like, I wonder if Jake had this idea, not just because Girl World scares him.
Yeah.
But because Jake likes to put me in uncomfortable situations that he knows he can laugh at and revel in.
Yeah, it's the best.
And I was like, I wonder if Jake set this whole episode up to kind of force me or to see if I would like relent and watch a certain movie that I have refused to watch since 2013.
Yeah.
Well, I
almost mentioned this when I was talking about No Escape, because I was like, it's kind of in that same category as Prisoners.
Yeah. Well, I rewatched Prisoners.
Hell yeah. And how'd that go?
There is no scarier movie, period. Like, there is, whether it is straight horror, thriller, drama, there is not a single movie ever made that is more terrifying than Prisoners on every level.
Yeah.
From the kidnapping to the unknowing to the investigation not really going where it needs to go, to Hugh Jackman completely losing it and being okay with losing it, to the other family being like timid. There is not a single element to Prisoners that does not scare the poop out of me. They're like, scariest movie ever made.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
I cannot. I was like, when I sat down to rewatch it, I was like, okay, you've seen it. It's been like 12, 13 years since it came out, like 12 years.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as bad as you remember. You're good. You're fine. Like, let's just eat our popcorn. We'll watch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment
probably worse because you forgot all of
I did. The moment
parts.
The girls are like, or he walks into the room and he's looking at his son and the neighbor's daughter and he's like, hey, where's your sister? And he's like, I don't know. The whole movie like flashed in my head again. And I was like, don't like this. Don't like this. Don't like this. Yeah. Prisoners is, you know what bothers me the most though? It's so good.
It is. It's ridiculous.
So good.
It's part of the problem.
It is the problem, Jake. It's not that it's part of it. It is the problem. It's so good.
Yeah.
And I like never want to watch it ever again. But it's so good. It is. Right. It's scariest movie. Like when it finished, when it ended, I was still like, well, not going to sleep right away. Like, I'm gonna all right. I'm gonna have to find something to kind of calm my mind, calm my
Yeah.
nerves. Like,
You
I
need a
need
palate
something to
cleanser.
decompress. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
No other movie really does this to me, but there's so many elements to Prisoners that's just so well written, well acted,
Hmm.
very raw, very just like it's just yeah, it is abrupt movie, and it just completely takes me off guard. I don't think there's a scarier film ever made.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think so too. All of those things are very true. I have more of a disassociative ability to watch it and enjoy it and not be as deeply affected
Hmm.
by it, but it is definitely very affecting and very well made and very terrifying.
Yeah. So, so
I'm proud of you though for
thank
watching
you,
it.
thank
That
you.
took a lot.
It did take a lot. So I'm not saying your whole idea to this would to force me to do this or to see if I would do it, but was I at
Yeah.
least partially correct in thinking like Jake probably thought this would be funny?
I I didn't think it would be funny, but I did wonder to myself, would you dare try watching it? And or would you just put it on the list being like, it is, obviously I don't have to watch it to
Right.
know
I'm not
that.
watching it again. No, I watched it. I watched it. Yeah. All right.
Wow. A very, very brave of you.
I was there. All right.
Okay. My number one is is basically like No Escape in the sense that it's people put in this terrible um, military situation, but instead of affecting one family, it affects everyone in the entire world in even more extreme ways. And I don't know how many people have heard of this movie. It's a movie that's ultimately about global thermonuclear war. It's from 1984 called Threads. Have you seen
Threads.
Threads?
I have
Yeah, have you
not
seen
seen
Threads?
Threads.
Oh man, it's a great movie. I don't know if it's like low budget or if it's just how 1984 was. I'm pretty sure it's a British movie, maybe BBC related, maybe TV movie. It is a TV
It
movie.
is a
Okay.
TV movie.
It's really good though. It is, it's essentially, so it's 1984. It's basically the height of the Cold War, but it's about kind of Britain's perspective outside of the situation. And it's kind of told in they kind of like you know how I've talked about Night of the Living Dead before,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just kind of people in a situation and you learn a lot about this giant global event going on through the radio or through the news that's on TV or whatever. This movie kind of does that,
Okay.
where it's England's perspective as they're outside of the situation and the United States is doing these things in the Middle East and they're having these problems and things are escalating and they can't really get it under control. And then it does escalate to the point of actually launching missiles and places getting nuked and people dealing with the fallout in the UK and stuff. And so it's really good, really terrifying and just really affecting, I think.
Hmm.
I think that it's the kind of movie that, you know, when James Cameron talked about, oh, I can't believe Christopher Nolan didn't put the bombing of Hiroshima and
Oh
Nagasaki
yeah.
and Oppenheimer, like that's a cop out to not do that. In my mind, you don't have to do that because everybody knows how horrible a dropping a nuclear bomb on a city is. Even if it's mostly evacuated, there's people there. It's horrifying for all of those people that get eviscerated, and then also the people that survive it and die weeks, months,
Right.
years
From
later.
the exposure.
Yeah. Um, but if you agree with what's his face that I just mentioned, and I'm thinking about something else,
James
so I
Cameron.
forgot his name, James Cameron. If you agree with him, then just watch Threads because Threads is essentially that, showing you what that means, what the effects are, what the ramifications of society are, what rebuilding may mean, um, what forces rise up in place of these situations, and how everything just kind of falls apart.
Hmm.
And also going back to um, the government angle and how they can ruin your life, the enemy of the state angle, they can ruin your life if they want to. This is just people living their normal life. It kind of starts out with this couple that is like dating and get pregnant and not married but trying to figure it out. And they move in together and they're trying to paint their apartment and they're trying to make ends meet and all this stuff. They're trying to live a life. And then this whole situation just completely comes out of nowhere. Like there's no reason this has to happen to them, but it does happen to them. And it's just so much out of their control. And also one of the worst things that could possibly happen to anyone ever in all of human history. So, if you think that sounds fun, watch The Reds from 1984. It's like, I almost put War Games on because I was like, it's War Games is scary as thinking of the ramifications of that actually happening, or being a kid playing a game and doing that on accident. That's scary too. But Threads is just way more real, like boots on the ground, living your life in the rubble kind of a situation.
I was watching the trailer when you were describing it. The very first thing on the trailer on IMDb that pulls up is it's a quote that literally says, "The most terrifying film ever made." It's like, huh.
Yeah, accurate.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've seen the cover. Like I have seen that cover before with the dude wearing the mask.
Striking cover with that bandage mask.
Or the bandage, yeah. Traffic warden. But I've never actually watched it.
Yeah.
I'm curious about it now.
You should. I think the 7.9 on IMDb is accurate. I think it's very good. Well, not just scary.
It's on Tubi, so
there you go. Watch it for free.
Go.
With commercials.
Yeah.
But it's a TV movie. It's supposed to have commercials.
Yeah, that might be
so there you go.
A record top 10 episode that we've done.
Yeah, that was pretty fast.
We did that quick.
Yeah. It's also late on Halloween night.
That's true.
That's true. Tired.
What honorable mentions did you have? You said you had a lot.
I tried to narrow it down. Well, mostly I tried to not include any movies that I had on other lists or that we've talked about on the show before. So Life is Beautiful, I didn't have on there. Click, I didn't have on there. John Q, Indian in the Cupboard, I talked before about the responsibility of taking care of that little Indian, and also when he accidentally kills the other one, or his friend does.
That's true.
That's just horrible. Idiocracy, really, really scary.
Yeah.
Really, really true.
Yeah.
Another political one, The Death of Stalin. It's a comedy, a dark comedy, but also very scary. And then Requiem for a Dream, we talked at length about that movie. So I didn't include those. My actual honorable mentions are A Walk to Remember. Because can you even imagine? Falling in love with this girl that has leukemia and she dies before you can really even love her as much as you want to? Just the worst.
All right, Nicholas Sparks.
Just say it. Stuck on You, because just being stuck to a twin brother is something I never thought about until I watched that movie, and now I have, and it's really a horrible situation to be stuck in, I think. Backdraft, because
no, that one makes sense. Yeah, Backdraft.
They do a really good job of making the fire seem like it has like intention and intelligence and like a monster,
it's like a monster,
basically. Yeah. They do such a good job with the movie Backdraft. They're remaking that. Did you know that?
Why?
I heard somebody somewhere.
It's going to be like
Backdraft.
The worst CGI'd flames ever.
Probably. That movie looks really, really good. Liar, Liar. I had a handful of movies where something happens to you that you can't control.
Every comedy is a horror, actually.
Well, particularly when something happens to you that you can't control. There's like this, maybe it's a magic element, maybe whatever. If it like lasted for more than a day, that would be much scarier than what it actually is. So, I didn't include it because it doesn't last more than a day. You know what lasts more than a day? Groundhog Day. If you didn't have any idea when you would get out of that situation, like people have tried to figure it out. It seems like he's there for years and years. That's so scary. Yeah,
because he masters the piano. He masters ice sculpting.
Mm-hmm.
He does another one too, right?
At least, yeah. Maybe two more is a lot.
Yeah, and so they were like, you would have to practice this routinely.
Yeah. So that's my honorable mentions. What about
Groundhog
you?
Day. That's a great one. That's a really good one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Or comedy again.
Well, mine, you brought up Requiem for a Dream. I actually think Pi is kind of scarier.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Really, really any of Aronofsky's movies could go into that category.
Right.
Mother, Black Swan.
I almost put Black Swan on the list, and then I rewatched it and I was like, no, this actually is a horror movie. Like, I was looking at the genres.
I was just thinking about it and I was like, it might be a horror movie.
Like, Black Swan is just horror. Zodiac is terrifying, especially the basement scene, even though it only lasts for like a minute. But why would you ever like, nope, not going in basements. Nope, we're not doing that.
Yeah. All of the like scenes where the killer is involved, it has a very Michael Myers feel about it, where it's just like this dark figure that shows up and murders you.
Yeah. A lot of my honorable mentions are going to be the ones that have like just the specific scenes or a sequence that is just like, where did this come from? I brought up Toy Story because I don't know a single kid that Sid's room did not traumatize us. Or Toy Story 3 with the whole furnace ending. Like, that wasn't traumatizing kids, that was traumatizing adults.
Right, exactly.
There's a movie from the 90s called We're Back, a Dinosaur Story.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is one of the most fun-loving little films until you meet Professor Screw Eyes, and then it becomes straight demonic. And it comes out of nowhere. Like, to the point where it's like, he makes the kid sign a blood contract. Like, he reduces the dinosaurs into monsters, and it's just the sequence. You go from this super catchy, awesome John Goodman singing in the middle of Times Square, New York during the Macy Days parade to demonic crows, this evil guy having kids signing blood, and then monsters. Like, it just... They just don't mesh. It's a very fun movie, actually. but the scene just comes out of nowhere, and it's like, this is wrong.
I don't remember that scene, but I imagine Ian McKellen plays that very scary.
Yeah.
He's Dr. Screw Eyes. Or Professor Screw Eyes.
Professor Screw Eyes, yeah.
And he looks scary with like his slit eye pupil thing.
It's a screw.
It looks very scary.
Yeah. Yeah. But so scenes like that. Man, our childhood movies were just full of stuff that you were like,
yeah.
what?
The Brave Little Toaster had a few, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very scary.
Oh, the Brave Little Toaster. That was a good movie. I remember really loving that one.
Yeah. I saw somebody online point out that like the AC unit dies in the background and nobody pays attention or talks about it. But
what?
Yeah, he just like actually croaks. Yeah. I haven't rewatched it, but I believe them.
I'll
it was on the internet.
Those animated films, I'm telling you guys. You think times are insensitive now? Woo!
Right.
Oh, and again, just a scene, but E.T. Like, that movie had moments in it that scared the poop out of all of us kids, from him like meeting E.T. for the first time to E.T.'s death. Pick one. So
right. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I mentioned we had a couple of other honorables from others on Instagram.
Right.
And they had some good options as well that we didn't bring up. A couple we did, but mostly not. So Zach Norrison says Pan's Labyrinth and Wizard of Oz and Natural Born Killers, which I get.
Yeah.
And the Deer Hunter. The Deer Hunter is a big one.
The Deer Hunter. Yeah.
The Deer Hunter is a very good one.
I don't know anyone that can sit through the Russian roulette scene and be okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. that movie, once you get to the end, it feels like you've gone through a lot for sure.
Because you have. The
Yeah.
movie is over 3 hours. You go through a lot in that movie.
Yeah, that true. And then Martin from the Film versus Film podcast, our buddy Martin, says The Conversation, Francis Ford Coppola movie that I have not seen.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Conversation?
I have.
Gene Hackman.
Mm-hmm.
Conspiracy thriller.
Yeah, there's man, you just reminded me of another one. Hold on one sec. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, The Conversation. That's a good pick, Martin. Good pick. Give me a sec. I'll find it. The Formula. So it's a dialogue-based movie. It's with Marlon Brando.
Okay.
And it's also like a political thriller, political crime thriller kind of thing. It's about corruption, and it's like Marlon Brando plays the big boss bad guy, and his dialogue is just, he has lines in that movie that villain, like just very villainous, and you're like, oh, this is I would not do well sitting in a conversation with this guy if he was saying this stuff to me. That's not good.
Okay.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Yeah, for real. Okay, and then James from How's a Teenage Film Snuff says Whiplash, which is very accurate. If I was a musician and played drums, I would find it more scary, I think. Yeah. But it's scary in general. Just the amount of control and I don't know, aggression that teacher has towards him.
An obsession.
Yeah. But also he could walk away at any point.
He could, but he doesn't, because he's prideful and has to prove it. So
also part of the problem.
Which is part of the problem.
And then the Truth Tank also podcast says Prisoners, agrees with you. And then also Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Because of the boat
has
sequence.
To be mostly for the tunnel scene.
Yeah.
But also kids
kids
lost.
do get like taken out one by one throughout the course of the story. So
may or may not be dead, but they are definitely lost into factory equipment, and that can't be good in any.
That can't be
safe. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's designed for that. And then last one, Abhorrent Fervent says Requiem for a Dream is the only answer. So there you go.
No wrong answers. No wrong answers. I'll say that.
Yes, all good choices for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a lot. That's a lot to get through.
That was a lot.
All very scary. You know what else is scary? But
I shouldn't laugh.
Not horror related at all.
True. So we do have something to share with everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've known this for a little while, and we're trying to figure out the best point to break it out, but the show has to come to an end.
Yep.
Soonish.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to different things, and we're going to finish out the year. So we've got, I think, 4 more episodes after this one. And but as of the first of the year, we won't have any more new planned movie boners episodes coming out. Sad to say, but also it's time, I think.
Yeah, it's time. Yeah, we've known this was coming for a little while, and it's not bad. We just think it's time, and our lives are obviously going in different directions.
Yeah, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, we hate each other. Oh.
There's a big falling out.
Yeah, very aggressive. It was bad. No, we just, I think you and I are just at a place in our lives where we know where we have to prioritize certain things. And so we are amicably choosing to prioritize those things.
Yeah.
It'll be weird, right? It'll be weird.
It will be weird, yeah.
But yeah, so end of the year, I forget what the date will be.
It's like right at the end, I think, when that last episode comes out, like the 28th or something like that.
And that will be the end of the Movie Boners podcast.
Yeah. Which, saddest for me, well, the highest stakes thing then means that it's winner take all for the belt in the
It's true.
draft. And then also the sad thing is that there will be no Movie Boners Awards next year.
Yeah.
That was a fun thing.
That was a
but,
blast. That was a blast.
Got to move on from that as well, yeah.
But yeah. So that's happening, guys.
Yeah. And we'll keep you updated with what that means, I guess, as far as anything else. I think don't have strong plans for obviously all of the episodes will stay up, and if you're not caught up, you don't have to rush. Everything else should stay online. I think that I'll probably keep the Instagram online, but it'll be more like memes and stuff or news or whatever. I don't have plans to make it a big thing, but maybe in the future, who knows? Maybe take a little hiatus and then get back to it. And then, we'll keep you updated if anything else comes up as far as what's next that you should know about.
Yeah. There's some fun stuff coming up, like in my personal life, and I'm just excited to see you raise those boys and the exciting ventures that you and your wife are now getting into. So I guess primarily your wife, but you're part of it, so because you have to be.
Right. Yeah, just helping her with some business stuff.
Yep. So we'll share all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the episodes will still be available, so it's not like we're gonna no, you can't revisit this stuff. That's not happening. Right. And then obviously we're still on social media. I just kind of got back onto it recently, realized I wasn't missing a whole lot, and so I'm kind of sporadic with it. But I have to be on it, especially in the next couple months. So I'll tell you guys more about that in a couple months. But I've lost my train of thought. I had a Michael Scott moment right there where it was like my mouth just kept going and I forgot what I was saying. But yeah. So you can. That's what I was going to say. You can follow us and still.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, we'll keep you updated, and I am excited for next episode. Next episode should be very exciting because we're getting into November and towards Thanksgiving, and that's often very history heavy, I feel. So we're going to have a guest next episode who's actually a history teacher, among other things, comedian and filmmaker and all these other things. We're doing the Reviewing History podcast guest on just talking about historical accuracy in films, and does it matter or not, and go through some examples of how accurate is this movie historically, and do we care or not, and try to talk about that. So I think that should be interesting.
Yeah, I think that'll be a fun conversation because I feel like anytime there's a historical film made, the first conversation is inaccuracies. So it should be fun getting his perspective on it, being a teacher. So.
Right. I think so too. All right, so look out for that, and then I'll make sure to post our remaining schedule, and then we'll keep you updated with what comes next after that.
Yep.
And also let us know any movies we missed that you think are really scary but are not actually horror movies.
Right.
Because I want to know.
We're curious to see what direction you go with it.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I think that's all we got.
Thank you.
See you guys next time.